Well, what do we have here? Old Man Logan. Let's do it. Old Man Logan, specifically Volume 1. It's a collection of 8 issues of Wolverine. 66 through 72, I want to say. Originally printed between 2008 and 2009. Make no mistake about it though, this was a standalone story arc even when it appeared within the pages of Wolverine. The main character is a future version of Wolverine from Earth 807128. Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Just as the title suggests, he's Logan as an old man. If you start reading through this trade paperback without knowing anything about this version of Logan, then you might think, Wolverine, but he's an elderly farmer. Hard pass. Alternatively, if you've only seen the movie Logan, then you might think, the movie didn't have any inbred redneck Hulk monsters. Hard pass. However, what you'll actually find within these pages is a strange, gruesome, and bloody story about a dystopian hellscape where the United States is run by supervillains, a far cry from the movie that it later inspired. Written by Mark Millar with art by Stephen McNiven, Logan was an instant success and remains popular among fans to this day. So popular, in fact, that after our main Earth 616 Logan died and X-23 took up the mantle of Wolverine, he was brought back into the main Marvel Universe in 2016 with Old Man Logan #1. He was naked. We, however, are going to focus only on this original story. We begin the story with a battered and beaten Wolverine. An unknown narrator explains. Nobody knows what happened the night the heroes fell. All we know is that they disappeared and evil triumphed. The bad guys have been calling the shots ever since. What happened to Wolverine is the biggest mystery. The unknown narrator speculates about what happened specifically to Wolverine. The gist is this: the villains did something to Logan. They broke him. Now, half a century later, he lives a simple life as an old man, a pacifist, and a farmer. Paying rent to Hulk and his gang and avoiding trouble at any cost, his way of protecting his new family, a wife and 2 children. What happened to Wolverine that night was bad. So bad that he found himself a train track and laid his head down on the rails. Wolverine died, but Logan can't die. He heals. Now, as an old man, he heals much more slowly, but still, he heals. So that's the setting. Logan needs to find a way to pay rent to the now evil Bruce Banner, who controls the West Coast with his gang of inbred redneck Hulk monsters, all of which are the product of his relationship with his cousin She-Hulk. You heard that right, Banner is somehow now a redneck. He controls the West Coast and not the Appalachian Mountains or the Ozarks, so he didn't become a redneck through exposure to the culture. It's not explained, but it appears that creating an extended family with his cousin She-Hulk automatically made his children and grandchildren into hillbillies. Somehow, and living in a cave near his large extended family and their literal trailer park has rubbed off on him, I guess. It makes very little sense, but it's hilarious. Look out for that radiation, folks. Its effects could cause you to live in caves and trailers, even if you somehow come to own all of California. So, an old, now blind Hawkeye shows up and makes Logan an offer that he can't refuse. A chance to earn the rent money and keep the Hulk gang from attacking his wife and children. The catch is that they have to travel across the country, now divided among the supervillains. The job, of course, immediately goes sideways and becomes an insane, violent, and bloody road trip. As their difficult and dangerous journey progresses, we learn about what happened to the heroes and the X-Men specifically, and ultimately we learn why Wolverine decided to put away his claws and never fight again. And it is horrific. Old Man Logan is a dystopian tale of the apocalypse crossed with both westerns and superhero stories. The imagination and originality are impressive, and the story is very well paced, considering that it's basically a handful of single issues compiled together into a trade paperback. If I have any complaints, they're small. The villain's plot to take over seems more like pure luck than it does a cohesive, undefeatable plan. I feel like they finally got their shit together isn't a very satisfying satisfying explanation, and that wouldn't be as much of a problem if they didn't make you wait for it. The comic also goes way out of its way to show every dead hero it can, and most of them amount to fan service that adds very little to the plot. The Spider-Mobile, the Venom symbiote on a dinosaur, 2 giant-sized superhero corpses, and Ant-Man's helmet being used as a toll bridge are all cool details that really make the universe feel lived in, and so admittedly, I'm nitpicking here. But with all of the other callbacks and Easter eggs, it can sometimes feel like a bit much. But again, I'm nitpicking, so this second complaint is especially weak. The art, however, is fantastic. Steve McNiven manages to capture the feel of the old Western comics, while at the same time making the art feel dark without actually being dark, if that makes sense. The level of detail in each page is amazing, and the wide shots scattered throughout the book really give a sense of the vastness of this world and the weight of what happened. So, just a quick rundown of a few of my favorite parts of Old Man Logan. The entire series builds up this concept of Wolverine as a pacifist. He hasn't popped his claws in 50 years. And so when he finally inevitably does, they dedicate an entire 2-page centerfold spread just to the onomatopoeia, the sound that his claws make when they pop. At the end, after killing the entire Hulk family, there's a showdown between Wolverine and the Hulk, where the Hulk literally eats Wolverine, and Wolverine heals inside his stomach and then cuts his way out, and it is gruesome and brutal in the best way. I also liked that Wolverine spared the tiny baby Hulk, and it's implied that he's going to raise him up to be a superhero or a new Avenger. I also enjoyed seeing the Red Skull's face on Mount Rushmore, and I liked the way the Red Skull kept all sorts of items from different superheroes, even going so far as to wear Captain America's uniform around. It was really morbid and creepy. But I am leaving out tons of stuff. I mean, it sounds like I'm giving it all away, but I mean, I just could not include it all even if I wanted to. So, Old Man Logan. Is it any good? Well, I really enjoyed it, but I think that depends on how you feel about dystopian fiction. I think Mark Millar showed some real restraint here. It would have been really easy for him to end this story arc with Wolverine wiping out the supervillains, saving the world, and living happily ever after with his loving family. I mean, that's how superhero tales work. After all Logan's been through, especially this version of Logan, he certainly deserved that kind of reward. People rarely get what they truly deserve though, and the idea of a newly awakened Logan riding off into the sunset to battle the overwhelming forces of evil in a long struggle is a more fitting end, in my opinion. Old Man Logan is a must-read, especially if you have the slightest interest in Wolverine, the X-Men, or alternate universe comics. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. So jump down to the comments section below and let me know what you think of Old Man Logan. Hit like and share, and let's grow the channel together. Until next time, be kind to each other. I'm Jay Parks.